Hi guys, welcome back to my analysis series of my Champs Ladder 38 run through with my Orc team. Up next we've got game 3, which was against Cypress's Chaos team. So we'll see how we got on in this one. So my opposition has a couple of skills gain with a block beastman and an agility boost on another beastman, so that's nice. We are set up in the classic boat formation there. If you've never seen this before, this is a well-used defensive formation which allows you to place some vulnerable players behind some higher strength or more durable players. As you can see, obviously the one weakness of that formation is it gives you the flanks, but typically speaking you don't want to take them too early anyway. And usually you've got sort of pieces that can react to any movement down the sidelines. Okay, so straight off the bat, we're a reroll down. We have opted to use a reroll there. That's really messy on the front line there, really messy. Couple of blocks. We didn't take these guys down the line as we should be doing. Going for the block on the Chaos Warrior. We've induced the Bloodwiser Keg, having the lower TV. So, obviously in this situation the ball's in no immediate danger. Our guys are screening the backfield perfectly well. And that's nice. Traded a reroll, and in fact my opposition rolled a second double down result. So here we are, just taking our blocks. That's fine. Yep. Going for the one dice. Get the pound, that's nice, yeah. Going for the one dice block when you have block is not too much of a risk in general. It's essentially a 2+ dice roll. And we retrieve the ball. So far, no immediate concerns. The first turn was a bit ropey in the way that we dealt with the line of scrimmage, but another reroll gone for our opposition. I'm not sure what the logic of that blitz was and why it was the first dice that I rolled. I'm looking elsewhere to see if there was any preferable blocks or blitz options rather. I'm not sure there was in the context of, I think, looking through everything here and all the blocking options that I've got, I think the design was here to get a 2 dice block on this Chaos Warrior. But it's all still not too bad. I think I would have liked the follow-up there. Yeah, I would have liked the follow-up there to pin the agility boost. Shame about that really stupid roll, but we've got the screen here of the ball carrier. So it's one of those times. It's easy to say after the fact as well when it comes to the troll that, oh, I wish I hadn't rolled that really stupid result, but you know, it would have been a mighty blow hit on his agility guy, so. And 3 turns down, our opponent is down to 0 rerolls, so that's positive. All in all, aside from 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 little details, I would suggest that we've approached the start of this game a lot better than we did the first 2 in this series, certainly. Upsen your troll gets. Yeah, see, this is where we should just have a little bit of a think, because that's fine, it's a 2 die block, you know, and I have blocks, so the risk is minimal in terms of dice, but let's assume one of these 2 Black Orcs that are down is going to be the Blitz. Whichever one isn't should just be standing up. And that's a decision that I should make before I roll that dice, because that could be double skulls. It could be quad skulls. And that's the level of risk management that you have to approach. Okay, so there we go. So I decided that was the Blitz. So I'm not sure why this guy isn't stood up. Because I feel as though there's every chance he's only going to screen this square here or tag these guys. There you go. So that could have been done before any dice were rolled. One die. Skull out. Yeah. Again, the risk, I suppose, is acceptable when you've got block. It's the reroll use that I think is probably still a bit too hasty. And secondly, so I'm starting to obviously build down this side here. That may very well be a situation where it was better to just stand there. Just have the Blitzer stand there. It's another piece taking another hit, but it's going to be taking up one of his reactionary resources that can come back and defend. So a double skull without rerolls, and we should be thinking here that we've got a good opportunity. You know, we've got 4 turns left. We are still not the quickest team, so I'd like to see us making this progress now. Okay. That has just jolted a memory. I remember how this went wrong now. I had in mind to take a surf there. Let's just see if we can pop back a second. Yeah. So I obviously see that the lineman has a block on this Chaos Warrior, and so my eyes light up at the prospect of blitzing him off the pitch. But with this beastman down in the area he is, it doesn't look viable to me. It certainly looks like it takes too much resource to do. So I think what we should be looking to do is perhaps the assist should be the other goblin. The blitz should come from the blitzer because he has the block skill. And then obviously there's no guarantees, but should he go down, we can continue our movement through with the blitzer and perhaps shield the goblin. It looks like we might be a little light on numbers there, but then that would leave the lineman who hasn't reacted, who hasn't been used either, so he'd be a second player that could come round. At the very least, we could end with a sideline cage. As it happens, this is a situation where it just wasn't worked out ahead of time. I obviously rushed this and just made a block that I assumed would work out, and that's not how it goes. And from a situation that we had that was really quite strong, you know, we've lost that momentum that we had, that opportunity to advance down this left-hand side. So we're going to get a little bit cleaned out down this side. But you know, coming into my turn 6 to have this 3 warriors and a beastman taken up by these orcs over here, I'm not overly distraught by that. So starting with a 1 die. Not sure what the logic of that was when we've got black orcs around who can throw 2 die blocks. You know, that's just something I can't legislate for. Looking at it now, what I was thinking there, because right now try a half dice surf on the Chaos Warrior. That's, you know, that's just silly. That's just silly. So the wheels are starting to turn, the cogs are starting to move in the process. Certainly in comparison to what we saw in the first 2 games. But just a couple of rash decisions. Overall, the build-up has been much improved, but you know, it's clearly come down to a moment where I haven't thought things through. A 2-minute turn, as it is on Champ's Ladder, doesn't sound like a lot of time, and indeed it's not. When you know, a lot of the time you got 4-minute turns, twice as long, but it still gives you a minute to think and a minute to click. So I think ultimately it's green shoots of recovery by all means. Okay, and the troll goes down on a block, so he was going to be moving forward. But to be honest with you, with 2 turns left, I didn't have the movement here, so this was me essentially running out of ideas. And potentially thinking about a throw teammate attempt on my last turn, but I can't quite see where the goblin would have been hidden. And as I said, from the position we were in about turn 5 or 6, it has gone royally wrong. Because of just some key decisions this time. If we can get the overall game plan combined with the you know, the momentary decision making in sync, then we'll be all right. But as it happens, we haven't managed to do that. So now we're at the mercy of our opponent not having any rerolls to prevent the turnover score. Gets the pickup, gets the handoff, gets to go for it. So 1-0 down. Uphill battle now, and it's no one's fault but my own, really. I think it's safe to say. So let's have a look how this second half goes. Okay, so I kind of skipped the setting up of the second half, just so we can take a look at them without the animation. So what I've gone for here is, again, it's the off-center line of scrimmage, in case we get the perfect defense, and then you can just shove them over to the other side where your opponent doesn't have so many blockers ready to go. I'm not keen on the goblin being there per se. Let's just get the toggle the skills back on there. Yeah, so we already know that our opponent has no claw or mighty blow yet, so I think potentially the troll should be on there in between the two linemen, and that goblin should be defended. I like to go for chevrons, but I've done some kind of weird sort of off-center half chevron attempt. The wide areas are fine. These guys are obviously just there as a consequence of the three guys being off-center. Now, we don't expect a rush, but the thing is, already being 1-0 down, if our opponent did determine that they wanted to just go all in and steaming in for the 2-0, that'll be game then, basically. So this line can be easily collapsed, and then a blitz on one of these two blitzers, and we could have a full chaos cage basically immediately. So clearly this setup is very flawed indeed. Not only that, but our little goblin is just having as many dice as our opponent chooses to throw at it. So there you go, there's the blitz on the blitzer there. As I mentioned there, if he'd have blitzed him to this square, then we've got several players that could come down and cage up here. Pick up depending, obviously. So he could have carried on. This guy comes to fill this gap there in case of the spilled pickup. So a lack of aggression is going to serve us well in our attempt to at least get a draw back in this game. One, two, three, 4 players on the floor. Now, all right, I might purposefully elect not to pick the 2 up that are tagged. But if that's the blitz, which it shouldn't be, but if that's the blitz, then there's no reason this goblin and this blitzer aren't standing up first. Yeah, alright, you know, you power the beastman and you knock him out, and it looks like it was the right call, but... Okay, so... yeah, there you are. So, I have elected to stand these guys up, so there's literally just no reason why I didn't do that first. That's really bad. It's kind of like one of the first things that you might get told when you're learning to play Blood Bowl is, if you've got someone who you know is just going to be standing up, then do that first before you roll any dice. If I'd had my heart set on that troll blitz, then they could easily be stood up. The blitz in itself, yes, it worked out, and you know, a power and a knockout is really good. I can kind of understand why I've gone for it. It's a strength 5 piece that is now giving his ball carrier some issues, and what I'm basically doing here is saying, go on then. Don't roll any both downs. So we'll see how that works out for me. I'm playing on the fact that the Chaos team has no starting block skills, and he's only got this guy here, that Beastman. So there we are. That's 1 failure, albeit on a double skull. So if anyone else now fails any dice, and we are gonna have a chance. Very aggressive way of playing, and you know, if you're giving your opponent that many 2 dice blocks, then ultimately it could come out to be a bad day at the office. But I've taken the gamble there. It could be something that I you know, I could stall him for, you know, the first sort of 4 turns of the half, and then do this much later on. But I think with the troll next to the ball carrier, when that blitz worked out. There we are, same again. Do our best to fold some of those guys in. Again, someone on the ball carrier. And another KO. So the troll has been on form. So, you know, I'm keeping the pressure on here. On you know, a second look at it, I don't mind it. I don't mind how I played. It was only the turn ordering issue that we had a couple of turns ago where I didn't stand the guys up first. You know, we are cranking up that pressure. Just waiting for dice failures. Again, it could easily not work out. Yeah, if that both down was on the Chaos Warrior, we'd be in business. Minor victory anytime a goblin survives. There we are. That's the kind of thing we're waiting for. So here we are a block away from having a blitz effort at the ball carrier. Let's see if I ordered this correctly. No, I do not. Okay. No, I do not. That Black Orc shouldn't be the one doing the block there. I understand why I've done it. I've done it so that I can move into this square and activate the troll, but this Blitzer could have just moved in to do that without a dice roll there. Okay. So ball carrier sat. Some pressure around the ball, so you know. Yeah. So that was me trying to do the quick escape with the goblin, probably thinking about winning the match. You know, if I picked it up, good. If I didn't, we'd try and get the 1-1. Because he could have just dodged out here. These guys were tagged, so unlikely to have troubled us. But just a little bit there of losing the momentum again. 2 Chaos Warriors around the ball. You know, in that sequence, that ball has ended up in a good spot. Yeah, just continually trying to leverage the position. Unlucky on the double skull there. Unlucky, but we did these bits first. And this, I believe, is where I start to run out of time. As I had to leave the house at this stage. So I can't recall how we end this one. 1D blitz, freeing up the ball, and then, yeah. We go for the pickup and fail it. And just for a change, it's actually me that throws in the concede this time. But what I'm going to do is we're going to go back and have another look at that turn and see, you know, what alternatives we had or where it could have gone from there had I the time to finish the match, which is another lesson for when you're playing Blood Bowl online, especially because when you're playing at a tabletop, chances are you've had the time to actually sit down. It's a dedicated league time or a tournament you're attending. Even if you're just playing a pickup game with a mate, chances are you've actually made time to play it. When it comes to online, if you're playing in Champs Ladder, make sure you are sat down and able to fully concentrate on the game before you start. Because this is an occasion where that wasn't the case for me and it's cost me a result. So let's have a quick look at what could have been. Okay, so here we are revisiting my turn 13, and this was literally, I remember this at the time, was just a case of let's just hit some stuff, see if we pick up the ball, and if not, we'll call it a day. But the alternatives here, so immediately I'm looking at this Black Orc and this Chaos Warrior here. With an assist from the Goblin, we can get a 2-die there, which enables this Blitzer to get free. Perhaps tag these guys here. This Black Orc, if this Blitzer stands up, we'll have a 2-die block on the board on this Beastman. Probably best option is just to punch this guy though, because that in turn will tag the other dude. So I think that was, yeah, if we 2-die this guy, that will enable both of these blitzers to get involved up here somewhere. The lineman may be sacrificed on a surf because it will occupy that Chaos Warrior. 2-die there, 2-die there, if we're just ploughing the field. Yeah. Potentially, if we're freeing up this guy, an assist from this side, from this blitzer to there, could leave this blitzer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2-die block on this guy. Which would mean we get a 2-die there. Yeah. So there was plenty more options there for us to make the whole area a bit more secure before we attempted this pickup. So good to go back and have a look at how the turn could have played out had we been fully focused. But as it was, there we have it. It turned out to not to be. So there we are. We end game 3 with a 2-0 concede defeat. Ironically enough, I would suggest that I actually played better in this game than I did in the first 2, where I ended up with concede wins. But that's just the way it works out sometimes in Blood Bowl. There was a much clearer game plan there. 1 or 2 errors cost us the touchdown in the first half. But I think that the draw was certainly on at the time that I had to call the match. So just one of those things. But yeah, it's nice to sort of watch it back and see that the cogs were finally turning and we were getting a little bit of that sharpness back, and there was an actual game plan involved. So that's it for game 3, guys. I hope you're enjoying the series, and we'll look forward to the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.